What's up, y'all? This is Loso, and you know you already tuned in to Gospel Goodies TV.
Gospel Goodies.
Gospel Goodies. Gospel Goodies.
This is Gospel Goodies.
I'm actually, I'm not too upset with it. Like, I know it comes with the territory. So, like, wherever you go into the stores, if you're looking for a particular thing, like a particular message, you want a Christian philosophy, right? You want a philosophy that surrounds yourself around a biblical worldview. So I know for me, if people market me like that, I know what they're trying to say. I do know that it also boxes us in, but for me, I appreciate it. I know there's a lot of people who do support me because of that, and I know there's a lot of people that oppose me because of that too. But I kind of just own it. I don't really that's not what I put at the forefront. But at the same time, though, I don't push it away. For battle rap, I started doing poetry actually, and so whenever I would do like these open mic poetry slams, people would kind of look at me and say, "Hey man, your mannerisms are that of a battle rapper," and so I was like, "Nah, and they were like, "Hey, you should go ahead and join." So one day I heard about a tryout in Tampa, Florida. It was with this league called Enter the Dungeon Battle League, and so for me, I just wanted to knock it off the bucket list. I just wanted to say, "Hey, I did a battle one time in my life, and that was it." So I went into the battle and did it. And it had residual effects that kind of just like lasted so long and impacted the culture so big that I couldn't, I had to do it again, and I had to keep doing it. And so people started opening up their eyes. They hadn't seen somebody raise to the tops like this so quickly. And so for me, not only did I enjoy it, but I started seeing like the fruit of my labor. I started seeing people like really inquire about the things I was talking about, building relationships with them. And so for me, it's not, obviously I love battle rap, but it's also opportunities to kind of just build relationships outside of the church walls. You have a couple other Christian ones, but we obviously don't battle each other. It's like 4 of us, but I'm only battling, and it's not even genres. Like, it's not like there's Muslims or there's like Hindu battle rappers. Like, everybody's pretty much the same thing. Like, they're gonna go ahead and go up there and tell you 1,000 ways they're gonna kill you. So for me, I want to kind of tear that mind frame apart. Like, I want to grab their worldview. Let me pick apart their brain and start picking it apart. And that's how I'm battling them. But it looks the same though. So my mannerisms, my aggressiveness, and I think that's why people cater to me. They're like, man, like he's up there. And he isn't using profanity, like he's up there, and he isn't like necessarily degrading them as a person. Like, he's really lifting them up, but you got to tear him down before all that. So it's not genre specific, but they do try to box me in, like I said. But nonetheless, though, I do get accepted around them. It's so crazy because there's a couple of people who actually go viral by coming at Christianity, because Christianity is like the #1, right? It's like, obviously, if you're saying something about LeBron, if you're saying something about Tom Brady, like, they're at the top. And so for Christianity, it's the same way. So for me, obviously, whenever I'm preparing a battle, I gotta like have these like pre-rebuttals in place because I know what they're gonna do. Some of the times, though, it just doesn't even work for them. But at other times, like my next battle, I know this dude is really gonna hammer at that. I know he's gonna hammer at Christianity, the inconsistency with it, why he hates it, how it's ruined black people's lives. Like, that's his main premise that he's gonna be using. But for me, obviously I just know truth always prevails. Like, I'm never shunning away from a conversation like that, because those are the ones that help people, and people love that. Whether or not they side with you, they love people who think, and they love people who can articulate that. So yeah, I've seen that plenty of times, and I actually love the challenge. I love when people try to match us up and say, hey, y'all should go together. So I'm ready for the next one, man. Before I commit, had a couple of things that was lasted. So first, it was me committing to an album. So that was my last EP. So I dropped another one a year before called Valley of Vision, and now Before I Commit just dropped a couple months ago. And so I'm in the process of working on a full-length album, like 14 songs. So Before I Commit to that. Also, it was the last EP that I put out before I got married. So I ended up getting married like weeks later. And so it was, before I committed to my wife. And so, and then also, I think like it just touches on a bunch of different topics in that EP as a Christian. So, like what are the last things I want to tell somebody who's like walking in this life, who's like, hey, all right, I think I understand Jesus. I think like this is it for me. Like I want to follow him. Well, before you commit, like, let me go and let you know like the cost with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not easy. It's not like, what people try to make it seem sometimes. Like, there are trials, there are tribulations. So, that was the consensus of the album, and I think it kind of flows from track 1 to track 8. You know, not just the consistency of the content, but also the consistency of sonically. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds like it's like at a dark place up top, and then by the 8th song you get this, like, you know, rejoicing feeling. So the following album, I don't want to give too much out right now, but yeah, I actually do. Everything Is Not Enough. So it's titled Everything Is Not Enough, and that's gonna be basically like the testimony for me, like with me like receiving a lot of success and a lot of you know, people talking about my name, and I'm getting into places right now. I think like my main thing is like, yo, everything is not enough if everything is not Jesus. You know, this is just facts within my experience, and also, I mean, throughout history. So I can go ahead and receive all these different accolades, and it'll be gone like this, right? Like, we're here today and gone tomorrow. So with that concept, I got a lot of dope songs, ideas, and collaborations with it. So I'm looking forward to that one, man. So it's twofold. One, just from like I want to say like a worship and a discipleship type of thing. Obviously, The Truth, KB, I think those two would be up top. And then from the other side, I think J. Cole and Kendrick, I love how they touch on topics that people don't touch on, and then they also do it in a thought-provoking way. My only critique would be, you know, it tends to be without a solution, right? Like it's easy to kind of give these problems, but a solution needs to be set in place. So I kind of take from a lot of other things. Sonically, I love Logic, I love Alicia Cara, I love these people that do things in an excellent manner. So I try to pull from a lot of different, sectors of music, because for me, I don't ever want to just be like, oh, this is Loso. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you get a project, I don't want it to just say like, all right, this is what you're getting from him, rather than, you know, hey, he could come with anything. And because he battle raps, like, they kind of already have this narrative in their head, oh, he's just this aggressive rapper and stuff. But if I go ahead and give them like some music along with it, I think it'll go a long way. That was a major issue just for Christian hip hop in general. It was like, all right, we can make songs like, you know, go hard for Jesus, but let's be honest, we're not always there as a human being. Like, I'm not always ready to go ahead and shout and sacrifice my life in China for the gospel. I wish I was, but that's just not reality. And so what happens when, you know, this woman that I really love ends up cheating on me and goes somewhere? Whatever happens if I put all my stock into a career and then it just plummets? What happens when my grandma dies from cancer and I don't know why Jesus allowed this to happen? So like, what happens when all these things are in place? Or what happens when I just mess up? Right? As a Christian, what happens when I mess up? Like, is there a song that can articulate how I feel and what happens after that? And so I want to make music like that. I think, if we're honest, gospel music isn't always just articulating the life, death, and burial, resurrection of Jesus Christ. It's everything that encompasses that. So that affects the way that I act now when old boy does me wrong or when old girl does me wrong. And so if I could go ahead and highlight that in a positive way, in a sonically appealing way, that'll be the ultimate. That'll be the chief end for me as an artist. When I first started doing music, I started doing music prior to battle rapping, and so it was just kind of, you know, just freestyles here and there, and not really like owning my style. Put out my first project and started adding some, you know, musicality to it. But when I became a battle rapper, lyricism jumped in it. And so for me, I had a goal. I was like, okay, cool. Can I go ahead and integrate both worlds? Can I take this battle rap thing that I'm being successful in? Can I take this music thing that I'm being successful in and integrate the two? And if I do it, can I do it to a high level? And so for me, right now, that's the mission. Can I go ahead and transition from an EP, from an artist who's popping in his local scene and stuff, and kind of, you know, the trajectory is to kind of like reach to another level. And so can I do that with a full-length album? Also, the mission is content-based too. So for me, I'm meeting a lot of dudes that I'm talking about, like, at the foundation, they don't even have like an understanding of who Jesus is. Jesus is just as relevant as somebody walking down the street. And so I want to go ahead and somehow bring them and show them like, yo, like I'm not this holy roll. I'm not this dude that has it all together. I'm broken just like you. Let's go ahead and I don't want to like point a finger. I want to put an arm around your shoulder and walk. And so if I could go ahead and do that with my music, which is kind of just an avenue that I use to kind of just, you know, create healthy conversations, I think the mission will be fulfilled. No matter what, I know it's never gonna like, you know, reach a dead end because it's bigger than me.